I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey folks, this is Matt once again doing a, I would say quick review, but my reviews are never quick. But it's a film I just finally got to see all the way through, thanks to Ben, that's this one, who sent me this. And that is Westworld. Boy, have we got a vacation for you. Now, of course, Westworld stars Yul Brynner as the gunslinger, and you also have Richard Benjamin and James Brolin as the two tourists. It's actually directed by Michael Crichton. Did he write this film too? Yeah, he did write it, right? Written and directed by Michael Crichton. Now, of course, Michael Crichton, who unfortunately is no longer with us. He directed one of my favorite film I love ever since I was a kid called Runaway with Tom Selleck. I love that film. Michael Crichton has done a lot of stuff. Of course, his involvement with Jurassic Park, among other things. But Westworld is an interesting film where it takes place in the future. Basically, they have these three amusement parks. You have Westworld, you got Roman World, and Medieval World. And you can go to one of these three places, and most of the town is pretty much androids, robots, and you can go there and do whatever you want. You can sleep with the women, you can, have a gunfight with the gunslinger and you'll win. You can rob banks, you can have bar fist fights. You can do pretty much anything you want, and I think it's like $1,000 a day, and you don't get a hell of a good time. So you have James Brolin, who's been there before, and he brings his buddy Richard Benjamin, who's more of a quiet kind of dude, who this is his first time, and, he's not sure, then he gets excited, especially in his first duel with the gunslinger played by Yul Brynner, Yul Brynner did a really fantastic job. I thought I remember hearing one time that Arnold took a look at Yul Brynner in this film for Terminator. I could be wrong, but if that's the case, I can definitely see why. Yul Brynner, I mean, especially the eyes. Like, Yul Brynner did a great job as the gunslinger, and the eyes are just crazy with the eyes. It's just really well done. And pretty much it's a short film. I didn't realize this film is not that long. It's 80-some minutes long. And pretty much the first 50 minutes to an hour, give or take, is pretty much the James Brolin and Richard Benjamin enjoying the amusement park, setting up the amusement park, showing how they get there. It's kind of like, being brought into Disney World and such. And I have to think part of this has to influence Michael Crichton for when he did Jurassic Park. I mean, at least a teeny bit about, going to an amusement park and things going wrong, and at least a teeny bit, I have to think. But yeah, Medieval World and Roman World are the other places. And yeah, pretty much the two of them interacting with the world, having fun with the women. Then for little bits from time to time you have the background with the scientists, and you have a sense of the scientists. They talk amongst each other. It's like, well, we've had more malfunctions. Things have been going a little bit askew. Maybe we gotta shut down, or no, okay, we won't shut down today, but we'll do this, da 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 da. it was kind of weird because it was kind of the first inkling, because they mentioned about how maybe there's a certain virus going on. It's like, come on, a virus in a machine? Which is very strange because, I'm doing this on a computer, and how many times, computer virus, let alone any type of virus, is pretty common. A computer virus, that's pretty damn common. But yeah, remember, this was 1973, so the idea of a computer virus that maybe is some type of thing that's affecting these machines is kind of, Michael Crichton really got ahead of the game. I mean, 1973, and you're already thinking of computer viruses? I mean, in some way, some form, and that's guy who, was ahead of his time in that idea. Although I have to wonder if this certain amusement park would ever go in today's age. Although in a way they do. I mean, they have kind of like, City Slickers or Billy Crystal, how you can go on a cattle drive and you can, dude ranch and you can do sort of these things, medieval times, that kind of thing. Now for some reason I just keep thinking about the cable guy. But of course not to the extent of robots or androids, as you say, and stuff like that. I like the idea, for instance, Richard Benjamin asked, well, what about, we have these guns, what if, I accidentally shoot a guest? And then you find out that you can't do that, that if you try to shoot someone or try to shoot yourself, it won't work, that the guns are based on sensors, and that you only shoot like machines or, really cold-blooded stuff. And again, basically for the first 50 minutes, hour, it's them enjoying the world, getting a few gunfights with the gunslinger, having fun with the women, having barroom brawls. Richard Benjamin one time gets in jail, then Josh Brolin does something to help get him out. Them pretty much having fun. And then basically what happens is, of course, things go wrong, and long story short, they can't turn off the power, the scientists can't do anything, and things are getting fucked up, basically, and the gunslinger is able to kill the Brolin character. I was going to say Josh Brolin, but of course James Brolin kills him. He's like, oh my god, I'm shot. And Richard Benjamin realizes that, oh shit, shit's real. And now it's basically Yul Brynner chasing Richard Benjamin trying to survive. That's pretty much the last 20-some minutes of the film. And I gotta say, I guess this film was the first feature film to use digital image processing. It is pretty much the gunslinger's point of view. Of course, James Brolin is pretty much the dad of Josh Brolin. You've seen James Brolin in a bunch of stuff. And Richard Benjamin, he's probably more famous as a director than actor. Because Richard Benjamin, I mean, again, he starred in this, but you look at some of the films he's directed. He's directed The Money Pit with Tom Hanks, Downtown, I remember Downtown with Forest Whitaker, Marcy X, that piece of shit. He directed Mermaids, he directed Milk Money, My Stepmother's an Alien, City Heat, Little Nikita. Well, actor-wise, he was in Catch-22, he was in The Sunshine Boys, Saturday the 14th, which was not that good of a movie. And then, of course, James Brolin, on the other hand, the Amityville Horror, the original Amityville Horror, The Car. He was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He was in... Oh, he was in Traffic. Catch Me If You Can. Let's see. Nothing too much sense, but Westworld was pretty much one of his more famous roles. But either way, Amityville Horror is probably his most famous one. But again, I like, even though one thing that I wonder is that, like in the medieval world, you know, some of these guys have swords, so, you know, how do, I guess they control the androids so that the androids don't hit the gas, but what if the gas goes crazy, gets a sword, and decides to fuck up anybody, you know? I guess they have protocol, I don't know what it is, but, um, I don't know, this film, it's a pretty intriguing idea. It's not too long of a film, it goes at a quick pace. The acting is fine. I really like Yul Brynner as the gunslinger. He's not in the film like a tremendous amount. Pretty much the two times that he gets in a duel with Richard Benjamin and loses, and then when he comes back for his third duel, and that's when he kills James Brolin, and then from then on, the last 20 minutes chases Richard Benjamin. But Yul Brynner was, you know, almost kind of wish I would have liked to see more of Yul Brynner's gunslinger, or the ending, like him doing more, like more of a back and forth action. It almost seems like it went by too quick. Like, okay, he's chasing him on a horse. Then I think he gets in the, I'm not sure if Roman world or medieval world. I'm not sure. Then gets underground and throws acid on Yul Brynner's face. And then goes to another place, and, you know, the infrared is fucking with his vision. Ultimately, Richard Benjamin burns Yul Brynner, and, you know, he fucks him up. I don't know why. I would like a little bit more back and forth action. Like a little bit more of him attempting to stop Yul Brynner's character or something like that. Maybe that's just me. Also, like, there's a character played by Dick Van Patten. It's like they give a, not a lot of amount, but they give some amount to this character. Like, you see him from time to time, to a point like, okay, now he's become the new sheriff of Westworld. I mean, he is another tourist. And we see him from time to time, and then, you know, he's part of this, you know, bar fight brawl. And out of the bar fight brawl is just, you know, these two wake up and they walk outside, and then all shit goes loose. Then Dick Van Patten disappears. So you don't know what the fuck happened to him. Did he die? Did he get killed as well? Because Carlin was led to assume that, you know, Richard Benjamin is the last survivor of what's going on in these three parks. So you never really find out what happened to that Dick Van Patten. They give, like, from time to time, him a little bit of screen time, so I thought it was kind of weird, like, was that cut out, or was that, what the fuck? But other than those two little things, that, and we'll like a little bit more back and forth with Yul Brynner and Richard Benjamin. Still, it's an intriguing idea, quick pace. The two leads were solid. Richard Benjamin really had that, you know, wow, this is really real. Like, I can do this, and we can do that. He was really likable. Yul Brynner made a solid bad guy as the android, the gunslinger. Really fun piece of entertainment, you know. Not that bad of a movie at all. I guess there was a sequel called Futureworld. I think it had Peter Fonda. From what I understand, no one returned except Yul Brynner as the gunslinger, and that's like in a little dream sequence thing. So, not even that much. I think Futureworld, like, there was, like, stuff about how there were androids cloning humans and replacing them. I haven't seen Futureworld, but I don't know. I guess there was also a TV series, but it only lasted, like, a couple episodes, called Beyond Westworld. So obviously the film was popular enough to get a sequel and, you know, them trying to do a TV series on. I also know that there was a time they were going to remake Westworld. And I remember hearing it was going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Yul Brynner character, and then Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Willis as the two tourists. And that Stallone would be the James Brolin role, and he would be the one who would get killed. And then it's Arnold Schwarzenegger chasing Bruce Willis. That would have been interesting. Obviously, that didn't happen. And then I heard there was another talk where they wanted to remake Westworld, but Otto would play the tourist. That maybe he decided not to play it because, it'd be too much like Terminator, him playing, another robot gone haywire and shit. But, that never happened. So I don't think you'll ever see a remake of Westworld, because really Westerns in general don't really do that well. Unless once in a while when you're like True Grit or you're Unforgiven. But when you have sci-fi and Westerns, a lot of times they don't do well at the box office. I really love Cowboys and Aliens, but that flopped. Wild Wild West, that didn't do well. Jonah Hex, it sucked. It didn't do well either. So sci-fi westerns don't really do too well, so I don't know, And this one, The Lone Ranger, guarantee this one flop. With Johnny Depp, I would bet money right now that film is going to flop. I will bet money. Just like I would bet money on Battleship, I would bet money for John Carter. I'm betting Lone Ranger is going to flop. Gigantic fucking budget on just The Lone Ranger is fucking stupid. With your lead, a guy that no one knows, really. Stupid. It's going to flop. But anyway, this on the other hand, I guess ultimately there was never a remake made, and you don't really need to, Westworld. But it's still an intriguing idea. I thought the effects worked fine. Old school, when they open up the face and the looking inside, I thought it was really well done. Quick pace, capable acting, and a solid bad guy with Yul Brynner as the gunslinger. It's definitely worth your time. But anyway, that's Westworld. Either way, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.